What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to TD Fans Talk. We're back at it live again. Just wanted to have a conversation, man, about Russell Wilson's new deal and how that is going to impact the decisions of the NFL for years to come, guys. And I think that the Miami Dolphins can learn a lot about the deal that was made with Russell Wilson in regards of what not to do. First and foremost, let me go ahead and start this out by letting you all know that it was a huge mistake for the Seahawks to sign Russell Wilson on such a massive deal, and we'll talk about it in just a moment. Man, what is wrong with this? One moment, guys. My quality looks terrible. What up, Pete? Yeah, what's wrong with this? The quality looks terrible on here. Hey, y'all, let me know on the camera, is the quality fidgety? Does it look real bad? Y'all let me know, because I'm seeing it on another screen looking really bad, man. Hello? Yeah, it looks clear? Okay. Hello? Yeah. That's what I was actually thinking about. I'm going to figure that out in a moment. Y'all stop talking about my pillow, man. Okay, I got it. All right, I'll text you. It looks good on y'all end? I mean, is it me? Is it my system? It just looks real bad, the quality, man. It looks really terrible. Hold on, let me check something out, man. Quality.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. I had it at like 144p for some reason. Now I got it back to 1080. All right, so anyway, all right, guys, so let's talk about this, man. And shout out to Pete, man. I see you in the room, homie. But listen, guys, I want to talk about this Russell Wilson deal because I think it was a total mistake for the Seattle Seahawks to do that. I think that, well, one moment. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all forgive me. One moment. Hello? Yeah, I just saw it. I can. I was just reading it. Okay. All right, bye. One moment, guys. I got to forward something real fast. One moment. Thanks for y'all patience, man. Hold on one second. Got to log in and accept something real quick. But Miami is not getting Rosen. Hey, Pete, you never know. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just saying you never know, man. You never know. Y'all let me know in the comment section real quick while I finish this. It's going to take me about 30 seconds now. Y'all let me know if y'all going to be live with me for the draft. Classic rebuild. What's up, Eric? Pete, you losing your mind, man. You're losing your mind. You say Russell Wilson is worth it. Should have been 5-year deal. Wow. How Florida treating you? Beautiful, man. This sun beat me up, but it's treating me beautiful. I'm loving it, man. All right, man. Let's talk about this, man. Because Pete done lost his mind, man. Sometimes I got to bring Pete off the deep edge, y'all. I got to bring him back to the shore, man. Listen, man. First and foremost, let's talk about Russell Wilson's deal. Let's get that out the way, okay? First off, Russell Wilson signs. Let me make sure I give you all the details, the facts here. Let me see. Was it a 4-year, $40 million? 4-year, $40 million deal, okay? $35 million per year. Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the game. All right, Pete trolling now. 4-year, $145 million. Okay? Now, let me help some people understand. With a salary cap of $190 million, okay? Russell Wilson is taking up $35 million of that salary cap. $35 million, okay? So we're going to do some math, y'all. We're going to do some math real quick. I want to try to help y'all understand football from a contractual standpoint and how deals like the Russell Wilson deal will kill the Seahawks for years to come. They're going to be a team that is fighting to make the wild card for years to come and will miss out more than they make it, okay? Let me break this down. 190 million minus 35. That leaves the team with $155 million divided by 52 players, okay? On average, the rest of the roster, on average, okay? The rest of the roster will get $2.98 million. Let's just say $3 million. The average salary for every player on the roster outside of Russell Wilson will be $3 million. Do y'all think y'all could build a winning team like that? I want to hear yes or no in the comment section. Do you think you could build a winning team if the average salary on your roster after one player is $3 million? Y'all let me know what y'all think. Yes or no? Because you know TD about to throw some facts at y'all after this, okay? Y'all let me know, man. Name one receiver other than Baldwin, and Baldwin is nothing without Wilson. That ain't what the argument is about. That's not what the argument is about, Pete. I'm not talking about what he's able to do with minimal weapons or what he's able to do with this, that, and this. This ain't what that's about. You know what? We're even going to go out on a limb. We're going to act like Russell Wilson is the greatest quarterback of all time, and that's what I'm going to make my point off of. So I ain't got to worry about hearing y'all saying, oh, well, this is what he does. We are not questioning Russell Wilson's skill. We are not questioning Russell Wilson's skill, okay? We are not questioning his ability. What we are questioning here is from a team standpoint, how much that is worth. There is a price tag. There is a price tag. And I am going to argue here today that that price tag is $25 million for a quarterback. You don't pay a quarterback, no matter how good or how bad they are, more than $25 million a year. That is my argument. And I know I'm going to get a lot of takers on the other end that will disagree. And I love it because I'm going to throw facts at you. Okay? But I got one person to say, of course not. But nobody else wanted to answer that question. What's the highest paid contract QB to win a Super Bowl? Hey, you're helping make my point, Eric. You're helping make my point. You do not pay a quarterback $35 million. Now, let's go a step further. By paying Russell Wilson, oh, you want me to repeat the question, Pete? Can you build a Super Bowl winning team if you pay your quarterback $35 million and the average salary on the rest of the team is $3 million? Yes or no, Pete? So you let Russell walk? Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're going to get to that point, but I got to make this point first. But long story short, yes, you let him walk. Yes, you let him walk. You know what? We're going to skip to the end, even though we're going to come back to the meat of it. I want to ask you this, Pete. Would you pay Russell Wilson $100 million a year? Yes or no, Pete? Would you pay him $100 million a year? Just not to let him walk? Yes or no, Pete? We're going to wait on Pete because Pete seems to has his stance, and this is a good one because Pete the homie, man. But I'm going to show y'all what Pete be losing his mind sometimes, and I got to try to bring him off the deep end. So Pete is basically saying you pay your quarterback $100 million. You know what, Pete? I want to make sure we're clear. Say yes, $100 million if that's what you're saying yes to. I'm not talking about overall contract per year. per year, Pete. Do you pay Russell Wilson $100 million per year? I want to hear you say yes, $100 million. Yes, he is worth what he just signed. That ain't what I asked you, Pete. That's not what I asked you. Pete, I said, would a team be smart to pay Russell Wilson $100 million per year? No, not 100 per year. Now watch this. You see how you said no to $100 million? Then Pete, can you answer us what is too much? No player will ever get paid $100 million per year. I agree. But I'm going to show you the point I'm making here, Pete. Then can you give us a number on what is too much? I want you to be able to tell me once you hit this amount, then that's a no-go. It's too much. Can you give us that number, Pete? Can you give us that number? Because that number is definitely $35 million to me. $30 million a year. That's too much. See, I think y'all getting caught up on what other people are getting and not what a quarterback should get. That's what's killing me. You're getting caught up on what other people are getting. If this player's getting 27, then Russell Wilson should definitely be getting 30. That's where you make your mistake. Because that player that you think that's getting 27 shouldn't even be getting 27. Every year the cap goes up, but right now it's at Russell Wilson's price. Mahomes in 2 years will sign about 150, 160 million. Then it keeps going up. I agree with you. We're not talking about what they're going to sign, because every time a quarterback signs that massive deal, you don't hear from that team anymore. They barely make the playoffs. They don't get out of the first round if they make the playoffs. We're talking about building a Super Bowl winning team here. We're not talking about just the salary. We're not talking about just the salary. We're talking about what's smart to build a Super Bowl winning team. Y'all are getting caught up on what other people's dumb decisions are. Oh, if Stafford get this much, of course Russell Wilson. You're getting caught up on what these other dumb teams are doing. The dumbest thing Seattle could have did is sign Russell Wilson to a $35 million a year contract. Now watch this, Pete. Now I want you to answer this. If Russell Wilson goes the next 4 years and don't make the playoffs and he's up for a new contract, will they re-sign him? Will they re-sign him to the new deal? If Russell Wilson goes the next 4 years and don't make the playoffs, will they re-sign him to a new deal? After that, worth even more maybe, or the same. Say he plays at the same level that he's been playing. In the next 4 years, he don't even make the playoffs once. Will they re-sign him? Or will they let him walk then? I'm waiting on somebody to be like, well, he's older then. Will they re-sign him? Every year the cap, I already read that. Only the quarterback who takes their team to the playoffs get those deals. I agree. But once again, they shouldn't get those deals. Because when did the standard become the quarterback took the team to the playoffs, but it didn't amount to anything but a first round loss? Didn't amount to anything but a first round loss. But what has the Seahawks done without Russell, and what offensive player do they have to pay? It's only Russell who makes the whole team. That's the problem, Pete. There's a reason it's Russell who makes the whole team. Because they can't afford to put a team that makes the team around him. When are y'all going to understand that logic in the NFL? I agree with you. It's only Russell that makes the team, and that's part of the problem. Because you can't afford other players to help him make the team. When are we going to realize this? When are we going to realize that? Let's take it a step further. Let's take it a step further. Watch this. Frank Clark is getting $17 million this year. Frank Clark, y'all. They franchise tag him. $17 million. That's $52 million between two players. Let's go right back to our healthy calculator. Go right back, 190 million cap, minus 52, divided by 51. Oh, now we drop to an average of 2.7 per player for the rest of the team. 2.7. Can we take it a step further? We not even talk about Bobby Wagner's contract or Jaron Reed, the defensive tackle's contract, that are massive. Let me tell you what Seattle says. On Monday, Schneider told reporters it would be feasible but very challenging for the Seahawks to keep Clark. That's why Clark is on the trade block. They're listening to offers for Clark. Defensive end, all pro. All pro defensive end. Here's what Schneider said. It would be feasible but very challenging for the Seahawks to keep Clark. All-pro linebacker Bobby Wagner and fourth-year defensive tackle Jaron Reed long-term. They don't know how they're going to keep those three guys. You know why they don't know? Because they just signed Russell Wilson to a $35 million contract per year. Per year. So what good is Russell Wilson if you can't have nothing around him? What good is a great quarterback if your defense can't stop nobody? When are we going to realize that? Can you answer me that? What good is your amazing quarterback who they don't even trust to throw the ball much, averages like 20, 18, 19 passes a game? What good is he if your defense can't stop anybody and you keep losing games because your defense sucks? Patriots a different breed. No, Patriots ain't a different breed. Do you know how much Tom Brady's annual salary is? And we know he's taking a pay cut because his wife worth 3 times as much as him. But do you see why they're able to do what they're able to do? Because they don't overpay at the quarterback position, ladies and gentlemen. They don't. Can y'all name the last big contracts for quarterbacks? Can y'all tell me the last few big contracts for quarterbacks? Y'all let me know in the comment section. What are the last few big contracts for quarterbacks that y'all remember? Aaron Rodgers. One moment, I'll be right back. Y'all let me know how Aaron Rodgers has fared after that. Please let me know in the comment section. It's okay. You just woke up. It's all right. I'm right here, okay? I'm right here. You want to hang out with me? You want to say hi? You want to say hi? Say hi. Aaron Rodgers. I wonder how that worked out. Big deal, right? Big deal. How did it work out? Oh, Joe Flacco. Oh, after the Super Bowl, you're right. See, when Flacco was getting the low money, it was all good. The team had more money to put things around him. But then he went to Super Bowl, get the big money. How has that worked out? That's not it. What you think gonna happen with Patrick Mahomes? He can afford all those weapons around him and a great offensive line. What you think gonna happen when they try to give him $38, $40 million a year in 2 years? Yeah, they can't keep the same team. What do you think is going to happen when Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott need their money? Dallas ain't gonna come out of that first round like that. Come on, man. Matt Ryan. Thank you for saying that, Real. That's a perfect example. Matt Ryan get the deal. Matter of fact, people argue they got weapons around them and got a Super Bowl team, but it's those small little positions. The depth, non-existent. Why? Because you're giving the quarterback more money than they're worth. And let me tell you why. Because the supply and demand is so high on quarterbacks, it quote unquote justifies giving big contracts. But is nobody paying attention to the outcome of these contracts? Can somebody please name me a quarterback with a big contract that's winning? Can somebody please, right now, name to me a quarterback with a big contract, like all these new contracts, that's winning? Please let me know. So this argument ain't about, oh, Russell Wilson and this and that, oh, he's great. Nobody's debating how good he is. But the market for a quarterback has gotten so bloated, it's actually bad. TD, did Andrew Luck sign an extension with the Colts? I believe so. I believe so. And was it good enough? Was it good enough? They went to the playoffs, but was it good enough to actually be a Super Bowl contending team? Drew Brees. Drew Brees got a massive deal. Lucky for them, they got all the young talent too. Lucky for them. The only way that you can overcome a quarterback. Wait, hold on. What do you mean? Tom Brady ain't getting that kind of money. What do you mean? Tom Brady done took pay cuts after pay cuts. I don't understand what you talk about, Pete. The only way you can overcome a high-paid quarterback like that, you don't overcome no $35 million quarterback. You don't. I'm talking about the only way you overcome the 27s and 30 million a year quarterbacks is if you like have a draft like no other. Them rookies, they play big time football, and you're lucky enough to have multiple of them. And you know how hard that is to happen? Even if you hit and not miss, you still don't have enough. You would have to have like 2 to 3 drafts where 80% of the picks worked out, like starters. Come on, man. Say, yeah, Ryan Tannehill was making more money than Tom Brady. Exactly. Appreciate that, Asher. TD, is the NFL a hard cap? Yeah, you have to stay in that salary cap range. That's why teams switch their contracts out. Well, we're going to pay you more here, and we're going to count that amount in the next years. That's the only wiggle room they got. Oh, I know it's loaded, Travis. I can't wait for next year. But the Seahawks have just shot themselves in the foot. Literally. This ain't me talking. Look at this. On Monday, yesterday, Schneider told reporters it would be feasible but very challenging for the Seahawks to keep Clark, all-pro linebacker Bobby Wagner, and fourth-year defensive tackle Jarran Reed long-term. How can you keep somebody long-term? Think about it. If Ryan Clark is going to demand somewhere around $18 million a year, Bobby Wagner is going to be every bit of that. And Reed is going to be every bit of that. You might have 3 guys right there that you got to spend another $55 million for. $55 million plus Russell Wilson's 35? That's $90 million between 4 guys, y'all. And once again, let me bring out my good old calculator to help Pete out. $190 million cap minus $90 million for 4 players leaves $100 million. And if you divide that $100 million by 49 players left, each player on the remainder of your roster is a $2 million guy. And we know we can go through Seattle's roster right now and find at least 3 to 5 guys over $10 million a year or over $8 million a year, bringing down the rest of the roster somewhere close to $1 million per player. But y'all don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about, oh, he deserves it. I mean, what, do you let him go? Yes, you have a standard. You have principles that has to be followed. Just because some idiot teams in the rest of the league that been losing for 20 years, like us, just because we go out there and sign a dumb contract, Ndamukong Suh, same situation. Just because we go out there and sign a dumb deal, don't mean that you got to give in to Russell Wilson's demands. Of course you would have lost him. Of course some dumb team would have signed him for a greater amount. We already know that. We already know that. Hold on. Don't tell me this right now. Breaking news, Adam Schefter. I'm watching it right on the screen right now. Frank Clark and the Chiefs now will finalize their long-term deal. Hold on, rewind that. Do you mean to tell me Seattle just traded him? I'm just talking about this. Hold on, rewind. Seattle just traded him as I'm talking about it. Hold on. Let me read this. I know I ain't losing my mind. Whoa. Let me pause this. Frank Clark and Chiefs now will finalize their long-term deal. Chiefs have 2 second-round picks in 2020. Theirs and the only they acquired from San Francisco from D4. They will retain the better of the twos, and the lower one will go to Seattle as part of the trade for Frank Clark. The Seattle Seahawks just traded Frank Clark. They traded Frank Clark. Now they ain't got no defensive end. Now they don't have a defensive end. What if we trade back to the Seahawks pick and get Clark and their 5th, then draft Jerry? Listen, he's gone. That don't even matter now. I'm watching this now. Frank Clark is a Chief. Making my point. Making my freaking point. Now they got to wonder if they can even keep Jaron Reed, the defensive end, and Bobby Wagner. All because Russell Wilson's $35 million contract. Y'all be losing. This is what I be talking about. If you understand football. Then you want to get on the GM. If we had a Russell Wilson on our team, and y'all be like, pay the man. Then when you pay him, you want to get mad at the general manager and the coach when our talent around him sucks. You want to get mad at everybody else when we can't win games with a $35 million contract quarterback. You want to get mad at the coach and say next coach and wonder why we in the same rat race for 20 years, 30 years. You want to wonder why we suck for 20 years. Because you have no principles behind how to run an organization. Doggone right you let Russell Wilson walk. It is unfortunate, I have to admit, crap, we're going to lose out on Russell Wilson. But you know what? It's for the betterment of building a well-rounded team. I'm just sitting here talking about this on a live stream, and breaking news from Adam Schefter. The Chiefs now are finalizing a long-term deal with Clark. Chiefs have 2 second-round picks in 2020. Theirs and one of theirs acquired from San Francisco for D4. They will retain the better of the twos, and the lower one will go to Seattle. Seattle traded this man for a second-round pick, y'all. A second-round pick. They traded this man for a second-round pick. And the worst of the two. Whatever one's worse for the Chiefs. That they got from San Francisco. So if San Francisco sucks this year and they get a great second-round pick, Chiefs get to keep that and give away their second-round pick. The Chiefs just got richer. And let me tell you something. This actually sets up even worse for the Chiefs. You know why? This even sets up worse for the Chiefs. Because what you think they're going to have to go? They're going to give Clark a long-term deal, and it's about to be massive, baby. It's about to be massive. But what's going to happen when Mahomes get his money? 36, 37, 38 million? Anybody? Oh, my gosh. I'm sitting here doing a conversation about his and breaking news. And they couldn't keep him. They couldn't keep him. Why you think I'm not so gung-ho on players like Xavier Howard? That's why I'm not so up on them. You got to know these guys are surefire and they're young. Not only that, you still got to have a standard in this NFL. Only at this price. Only at this price. Only at that price. Of course you're going to lose some of your greatest players. But why do you think the Patriots can let their left tackle go this year? Literally. All pro left tackle, y'all. The Patriots. A 25 or 26-year-old left tackle who started and won a Super Bowl. They can look at him in his face and say, we appreciate everything you did for us. But you deserve more money now. Well, let me not say the word deserve. You can go get more money now, but we're not going to pay it. And every year they let one of their best players go on their roster. Every single year, ladies and gentlemen. Every single year. They let go one of their best players on the roster. Y'all let me know if I'm still live. It's actually spinning on me, man. Y'all let me know if y'all can still see the stream because it's spinning for me. Let me know if it's still live. Let me know if we have an issue with the stream. We can, cool. But come on, man. Christ, Kansas City is dumb. Traded D Ford for a second round, then get Frank Clark for a first and a second. A first? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see the first. I don't see the first. Maybe I'm wrong. Frank Clark and Chiefs now finalize their long-term deal. Chiefs have 2 second-round picks, 2020. Theirs and the one they acquired at San Francisco D4. They will retain the better of the twos. They traded the first two. I'll look into it. It ain't so bad if they got a first-round pick. Is it this year's first or next year? It ain't so bad for the Chiefs, that is. But once again, where Pete at? Pete, you still in the room? Pete, are you still in the room? Let me know, Pete, if you still here. Help us understand why the Seahawks could not keep Clark. Tell us why the Seahawks couldn't keep Clark. Because of that $35 million contract that Russell Wilson got. And that ain't it, ladies and gentlemen. They not done. Look for one more big name to be gone. And if no more big names are gone, look for those players that are rated out of 1 to 10. Look for those 7s and 8s. About 2 of them to possibly be gone. You can't afford it, man. If you're going to have a decent roster, you cannot afford it. Now the average skill of every other position on this team is going to be like a 5.5. Maybe 6 if they lucky. Signing Russell Wilson to a $35 million deal assures that the average player on your team cannot be above a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. This is what I be talking about. You got to understand how to run a franchise. But it's always those individuals that say, yeah, but you can't let all your best players go. Why not? Do the Patriots not do it? Now I must be fair. Tom Brady does take a pay cut, and that's what allows them to. But you got to have standards. You got to have standards. You have to have a standard. You can't go out here chasing the player and putting yourself in these situations every time. And then you got breaking news today. Russell Wilson buys his offensive line about $150 $50,000 worth of Amazon stocks as a thank you. He buys members of his offensive line $150,000 worth of Amazon stock as a thank you for his contract. Oh, you better give him something. You better give him something because you know the team hurt. You know that some of them offensive linemen gonna want their money, and the team may not be able to afford it. And they might just say, I just like it here in Seattle. I'll take a pay cut. Because Russell Wilson ain't taking that cut. For the record, TD is going to go down as somebody who says if you overpay for a quarterback, you are dooming your team. It's just crazy to me. Seahawks took a fat L. Hold on. Did they take a fat L on Frank Clark or signing Russell Wilson to the $35 million deal? That's what the real question is. They didn't take a loss on Frank Clark because it had to be done. The loss was signing Russell Wilson to $35 million. This is why I say you don't get no Xavier Howard, no 16, 17 million a year. This is why I say it. Because you're hurting another position. Because a top cornerback should be getting somewhere around $12 million a year. A top cornerback. But of course, you want the best? I'm here. Are you willing to pay me a little extra? Of course I am. Here's $16 million. But the organization don't want to talk about the freaking right guard that you can't afford to pay $8 million for. You can only afford to pay him $4 million, so you wonder why your team gives up 2 more sacks a game. You wonder why your team gives up 2 more sacks a game. Oh, it's because of that cornerback you pay $16 million instead of the 12 that a top corner should get. Only so you can land them. Only so you can land them. And Ndamukong Suh should have taught y'all that lesson. We landed in Ndamukong Suh, but didn't have any depth. Wonder why we could never find a cornerback to guard when we signed Suh. Wondering why we could never find that staple linebacker. Because you keep on trying to find them either in the draft, and if you hit, yay. But odds are you don't, which we haven't. I got to stop with that mess, man. Y'all got to stop with that mess. Y'all got to understand how this works. This ain't about the player. Oh, we letting our best players go. Yeah, you want to sign your best players. But you got to be smart in how you do it. You got to be smart in how you do it. I'm going to go out on a limb and even say this. I don't even like that they gave Tunsil a 5th-year option. I mean, it was a no-brainer. But you know what a 5th-year option is? We got another year to make a decision. So if you get hurt, it's in our favor as an organization. But if you don't get hurt, you have every right to go into free agency now. Uh-oh. You got every right to go into free agency unless we franchise tag you, which is another slap in the player's face by saying we're going to franchise you. We'll pay you big, but not for 4 years. We just want to go year by year so that we don't get burned. But you know what you're doing to the player? You're making it all about money, and then you wonder why they leave for a bigger amount. This offseason, we should have been sitting down with Tunsil talking about a 4 or 5 year deal that pays him good money and locking him in. When you talk about 5th-year options and when you talk about franchise tags, you're basically letting one of your best players know, we just trying to be safe. We ain't worried about you. We looking out for our best interests. And you wonder why we leave them. We don't leave them for money. We leave them because we do things that show them it's only about money. So when they become free agencies, they look at you in your face and say it's only about money. So you can overpay me, which is going to hurt this team, or I can go get more somewhere else, which is going to hurt that team. But either way, I'm going to get my money. Because y'all should have took care of me this offseason instead of playing games, putting me at risk. If I get hurt now I don't make the money that I deserve because I got hurt. That's what it's about. And people want to argue, yeah, but we can't let all our young, great talent go. And you wonder why the Patriots can do it. Because your mentality is wrong when it comes to football. And I'm saying all this because I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of losing. Everybody talk about Dolphins lose because they never have the talent. Then when we go get the talent and we wonder, oh, we had talent in these positions, but our O-line sucked. But you don't want to talk about why our O-line sucked. Because the average player on our O-line making $2 million a year. You don't want to talk about that. Well, they need to go pay better O-linemen. Okay, then who you want to get rid of? Who you want to get rid of on the roster? If you want us to pay better O-linemen, who you want to get rid of on the roster? So that we can. It's more than just this name. Y'all got to understand that, man. I'm tired of losing. And y'all falling into the media way of building a team, which is glorify the quarterback and not looking at what really wins games, man. TD, what was Dan Marino's contract like when he played football? Dan Marino had a great contract for his time. Of course, that's peanuts compared to the money these guys are making now. But Dan Marino had a great contract. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know that Dan Marino was getting paid for his time. And it's the saddest thing is, why couldn't Dan Marino win a Super Bowl? All these people talk about you got to have a quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Then help me understand why Dan Marino never won one. Please help me understand that. Dan Marino should have won a Super Bowl. If it's all about the quarterback, help me understand what flaw did Dan Marino have. I'll wait, and if anybody can respond to that, oh my gosh, you concern me more than anything. Oh, his defense. Oh, why couldn't he have a great defense? Because they put all that money in the offense instead of having a well-rounded team. A well-rounded team. Yeah, your roster may allow for you to pay 2 or 3 people some really good money. But that's like paying a guard who should get $8 million, $10 million, $2 million difference. But when we talk about a quarterback that should get 25, but you pay him 35, and then people want to come with that ridiculous excuse. But that's what the market dictates. That's not what the market dictates. Just because you got a stupid, dumb, the fool GM that'll pay a quarterback hypothetically $40 million, don't mean that's what the market dictates. That's just a GM that was stupid, overpaying. Don't mistake stupidity for dictation. What something dictates. Well, if he gets that, then I sure should be able to get this. Oh yeah, you can if you want to go find another dumb fool to sign you on it. And I encourage you to do so because that's your money. Go get that cash. I'm not knocking you. I'm not mad at Russell Wilson whatsoever. It's the Seahawks that are the idiots. But why you think it took them so long? Even the Seahawks know that they're getting burnt from this. Hey, let's be honest here. Even the Seahawks organization know they're getting burnt. They waited till the last hour of Russell Wilson and his agent's deadline. You have until this day, close of business, to give a new deal, or we will not be signing whatever deal you offer after that. They gave him an ultimatum, and I ain't gonna lie. Good day for Russell Wilson and his camp. He put him in a corner. I commend him for it. Ain't many players get that opportunity, and Russell Wilson played the game to the T better than anybody I've ever seen in NFL history. And who could actually right his own ship. You don't see that often. And they were forced to give him a deal, but guess what? You're a fool if you don't think he was on the trading block. You're a fool if you don't think they were listening to other teams. Hey, what can we give? What can we give? And you know what? Other teams were lined up to trade for Russell Wilson. But you know what? They could have actually got a trade done for Russell Wilson. They could have got 2 or 3 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. I mean, that's overpaying, but they could have did it. But guess why other teams didn't pull the trigger? Why you think them other teams didn't pull the trigger? because some of them ain't dumb the fool. Forget the trade on the draft picks. Forget what we got to give up for Russell Wilson. The teams didn't care about what they had to give up. You know what stopped them from actually pulling triggers? Because the Seahawks were ready to actually pull trade deals. They were actually ready to trade them. But you know why other teams didn't go for it? It wasn't about how much draft picks they had to give up. It was not about that. It was about the fact that they said, we can give up whatever we want from him, but then we'd have to sign him on a $35 million a year deal. I ain't that crazy. Are you kidding me? I'll trade first rounders all day if I can get him on a $27 million deal. Even maybe a 30, and I still would be stupid to do that, but I might just do it. But when they were like, we're going to give away all that and still have to give this guy $35 million a year, the Seahawks are in the worst position possible. The other teams were like, nah, we'll give you one first round because I'm going to leave this decision to y'all. Because you crazy if you think I'm going to give you assets and still have to pay the man $35 million. Matter of fact, some teams would have even said, you could have gave us to him for free. I'm not paying him $35 million a year. You could have accepted a 7th round pick trade for Russell Wilson, and I'm still not going to take that trade because it ain't about the picks. It's about the fact I'm not giving this man $35 million a year. That just ruins the rest of my team. Oh, but we got the quarterback. Man, they are in trouble for years to come. I was sitting here about to tell y'all, no. Boy, you about to break my new camera. No, sir. Come here. Man. Y'all, one moment. No, sir, man. Look at this. This is what y'all keep on holding on to. The NFL cap will go up eventually. Do you know how much the NFL cap goes up? Do you know what percentage the NFL cap goes up? If it's 90 million, it'll go to like 92. Y'all be acting like it goes from 90. I mean, if it's 190, it'll go to like 192 or 193. Y'all sitting here acting like the cap is going to go from 191 to 230. No. No, sir. You trying to break my stuff. Play with your toys then. Listen, y'all need to understand. There are percentages to this. If the cap space, see, the cap don't just jump up like $30 million, okay? It don't jump up $20 million like that. And let's just hypothetically, let me cater to y'all real quick. Let's act like it jumps up 10 million, which it won't, but let's act like it jumps up 10 million that Russell Wilson, that makes up the difference. Because I think quarterbacks, the greatest, should be getting 25 million. But let's just say it jumps up 10 million, the cap, to 201 million. That 10 million ain't reserved for one player. If the cap jumps up 2%, that 2% don't go to one player. Across the board, if linebackers were worth 6 million, now they're worth 6.7. If cornerbacks were worth 12, now they're worth 12.6. You see what I mean? When the cap goes up, it's not to supplement for one player. That means the value of every player on the roster goes up a little. And that's where y'all mistaking it. Well, the cap's going to increase eventually. Of course. But that's because every position's value increase. Let me tell you what smart NFL GMs have. Smart NFL GMs have a chart. It ain't nothing on here, but they have a chart. QB, value for a team, $25 million. It might be 13% of cap space. Running back, top paid value. Not what people are getting, but what the value should be. Running back, $9 million. 9% of the cap. They have a whole chart for every position, and they go out and try to look for those. And it totals up to the exact salary cap of $191 million, whatever it is. Those percentages, every team has it. But then when you go to the quarterback and they should be getting $25 million, and they get $35 million, the team has to go through every position and lower the percentage. And now you're messing with, now you're not getting value at other positions that you should to make up a good, well-rounded roster where your coaching should make the difference and make you win over other people. That's what it is. But the people that don't understand salary cap, all they do is watch football. All they do is watch football and say, we need to bring that guy in. We need to bring this guy in. All you do is watch football. You're not studying the salary cap. You're not studying the team's books and their finances and the situation that they're in. And then you wonder why you lose for 20 years straight. Because of decisions like this. I bet if we would have went and got Russell Wilson, I don't care if we had to trade Russell Wilson for a 7th round pick. Oh my God, our fans will be like, oh my gosh, we got Russell Wilson for only a 7th round pick. They're so dumb. No, you the idiot, dumb, boo-boo the fool. Because now you got to pay him $35 million. But you know what? You're not even going to realize it. You're going to be like, man, they stupid. Give them 35. Hell, give them 40 if you have to. That's what you're going to say. And then 4 years later, oh my gosh, Russell Wilson still plays well, but our defense sucks, man. Why can't we go get a defensive end that's good? Because you don't understand football. You're looking in the wrong area. You're blaming the defensive end when you got to blame Russell Wilson's contract. You can't afford a D lineman, the elite one. You can't afford this. You can't afford that. All you look at is surface stuff. That's why we keep losing. Because we got fans that don't know football. And they keep on calling on wrong situation type things. And they're not looking at the bigger picture and the bigger scheme when it comes to team, building a team, man. Man. So if you're the Chiefs, don't pay your QB because you need a well-rounded roster. There you have it. And I know you'll disagree, Cash Money Brandon. I know you'll disagree, but yeah, you pay your quarterback. But when Mahomes is up for a new contract, he's going to, the right price for an elite contract around in 2 years from now is going to be about $27.5 to $28 million. And if you get him for that, good job. But you're not going to be able to. He's going to demand every bit of 35 plus. And what are the Chiefs going to do? Watch this, y'all. What are the Chiefs going to do? They're going to pay that 35, 36, 37 million. Then they still going to be on the hook with Clark's contract because you see he's just signing it. He got about 4 or 5 years. Then they're going to go through the rest of the roster and say, hey, left guard, we're paying you $12 million a year. We can't afford you anymore. And the replacement's going to make about $4 million a year. Then they're going to look at the right tackle. Hey, we can't afford to pay you your $9 anymore. They're going to pay him they're going to find a replacement for about $5 million. Then they're going to go on the defensive side and be like, hey, cornerback that we're paying $8 million that have been playing very solid. We can't afford you anymore. And then they're going to go ahead and find a replacement for $2 million or a young guy in the draft that may not work out. And Patrick Mahomes is going to be the same Patrick Mahomes. Now, so I want you to think about that. When you pay him the money, your team don't get better because Patrick Mahomes is still going to be Patrick Mahomes. But now you got a worse left guard, you got a worse right tackle, and you got a worse cornerback. So tell me, did your team get better by paying him that money on a new contract or worse? Can y'all answer that in the comment section? Because I want to make sure people are making common sense of things. Did your team get better or worse when you signed them to that $37 million deal? Because trust me, Cash Money Brandon, I understand your logic. Oh, you don't want to lose Mahomes. I wouldn't want to lose him. Especially if he continues to play this way. No, you don't want to lose him. I get it. I get it. But just because you don't want to lose him, you allow your team to get worse? You got to have some standards. Now you got to go out and try to find that quarterback. That's why the name of the game is going to be above average quarterbacks, not elite. In order to be in the playoffs every year, you're going to need an above average quarterback, not elite. Elite is going to get you bit every time. And Ndamukong Suh was elite. Bit us. It bit us from a full roster standpoint. Well, it didn't bite the Rams because they got him for half the price we had to pay for him. Half the price. What Ndamukong Suh made with the Rams was closer to what his value should have been on an open market. But you always have a team that's going to overpay. That's just the name of the game, and it's unfortunate, but you got to still be able to keep moving without that. Let them go. Patriots do it every year. Why you think they were so high-ho on Jimmy Garoppolo? Because they didn't know if Brady was going to give him a hometown discount. If Brady would have demanded the $35 million, which he would have deserved, he could have went to any other team when his contract was up and got $35 million. Tell me I'm wrong. Brady could have went to any other team on his last contract re-up and got $35 million easy. Tell me I'm wrong. And if he would have demanded 35, he wouldn't be a Patriot today. Tell me I'm wrong. That's why Garoppolo was there. Tell me I'm wrong. They ain't dumb. They not stupid. And lucky Brady understands that too. Brady understands it too. Brady knows I'm not stupid, man. Let me do what's right. Let me get paid what a quarterback should get paid. He actually gets paid even less than that. But let me get paid based off of a successful football team, what a good quarterback should get paid. Nothing more, nothing less. And this should allow my team to be Super Bowl contenders every year. Every year. But we know that's not the element of the game because players are going to go get their cash. Because you don't know how long you're going to be in this league. One injury and you done. One injury and you done. Let me know, M. Dolphin fan. Ain't nothing wrong with a disagreement. Help me understand why. The emphasis should always... the emphasis should and always should be building through the draft. No, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. Because that's where you get your low price. That's where you get your low price. You have to build through the draft because you got a young player for 4 to 5 years that you're paying pennies for. But the real goal of a organization is not to keep the players that you draft. See, this is where everybody would disagree with me, but I want y'all to hear my logic. The goal is not to keep the player from the draft. The goal is to find a great talent in the draft and utilize that great talent for 4 to 5 years. And when it comes back around 4 to 5 years later, you've done so good in the draft that you're already drafting their replacement and allowing those dumb teams to pick up that star that you created out of the draft for a high price that you ain't willing to pay, but now his replacement is just as good. And just keep the cycle going. We never overpay. That's why we're always in the Super Bowl, a la the Patriots. We never overpay. That's why we're always in the Super Bowl. We put success on the coaches. Develop that young man right there into a NFL starter. And in 3 years, you got to understand we're not going to keep him because I need you to develop the next year guy just as good. Let that man go off and be successful. That is the ultimate equilibrium of an NFL franchise. Imagine running your organization that way. Imagine knowing that you're not losing anything by losing that Pro Bowler after his rookie contract, because whoever we bring in is going to be just as good. Imagine having that feeling. Imagine knowing that we're so good at the coaching, at coaching, that it don't matter if we lose a star. Because whoever we bring in from the draft, we're going to create a star. Imagine having that feeling. That's the true goal of an organization. But teams are so far from that they think it's unrealistic. That's what the Patriots have. They have a coaching staff that can turn a player into an elite, a great player. Ain't got to be elite, just a great player. And for those who think I'm wrong, tell me why the Patriots let their left tackle, all-pro left tackle that's 26 years old, coming off of that contract. He got traded to them. Why wouldn't they keep him? He was with the Patriots for 1 year. Why would they not keep him? Great. Amazing. Super Bowl winning left tackle. Please help me understand why they didn't keep him. They got the money. They got six draft picks in the first 3 rounds. And they got money. And they got money to buy free agents. You tell me why they would let an all-pro 25 or 26-year-old left tackle go who won a Super Bowl. Because last year they drafted his replacement, and the replacement was on the bench behind him the whole time. And what did Belichick say? You're going to earn a lot more money. Go off and get your money. We already got your replacement. We'll be fine. Come on. Have to have a good O-line after you have a good all-time. You need a QB. After you get your QB, now you need to get the guys that gets the QB. That's how you build. I agree, Bob. I agree. But again, in the process of then you get your QB after the O-line, you don't go get your QB for $35 million. So, I mean, here's my thing. What's the difference from signing Russell Wilson to a $35 million contract versus a $45 million contract? What's the difference? The same logic applies. But TD, nobody's getting a $45 million. You would have said nobody's getting a $35 million contract until this happened. If I was to ask all y'all before Russell Wilson got his deal, how much you think they're going to give Russell Wilson? A lot of y'all would have said about 28. Some of y'all would have argued, man, he might get 30. Man, he might actually get $30 million a year. Some of y'all might have even went extreme and argued, man, Russell Wilson, man, they got to pay him the biggest of all time. They probably going to give him 32. See, we would have argued different levels. But the man came out the gate with $35 million. So what is the argument for real? Would you have been arguing if it was $45 million? Half of y'all would have been arguing then. Yeah, that was stupid. Okay, so now you have to determine what is the number for stupidity. You think just because $35 million is only $7 million away from 27, it makes it more reasonable? It's still stupid. Yeah, but TD, $45 million would have been just outright flat insanity. That's your gauge? $35 million was ridiculously stupid, okay? Mahomes will get somewhere around the same thing. Maybe more. And it's going to be outright stupid. Yeah, but we got to keep our quarterback. I understand. But that's the dilemma that you're in now. That's the dilemma that you're dealing with now. That's the cost of putting everything on your quarterback. That's the cost of having a star. A superstar. Let me put it like that. That's the cost. Because I will go back to the question that I asked y'all earlier. Name to me a quarterback who made over $25 million a year, who has a successful time. I'm talking about their team making it to the AFC Championship or NFC Championship or even the Super Bowl. After they got their contract, name a quarterback that's done it. Please let me know. Making 27 plus. I'll even say 25 plus. Name to me right now a quarterback making 25 plus who's made the AFC or NFC championship game or the Super Bowl. Sip this tea though. Let me see if somebody has an answer for me. Did you see how he lost a coordinator mid-year and had the worst O-line in the league and still put up okay numbers? Once again, I'm not arguing his ability. I'm not arguing about how great he is. I'm not arguing that. I'm not. This ain't got nothing to do with what he was able to do with less, because he's going to have to do more with even less. That's the point I'm making. Okay, Russell Wilson has done more with less. I'm not debating that with y'all. But now by signing a $35 million contract, he has to do even more than the more he's already did with even less. Are y'all missing that point? The argument ain't about his ability and what he's been able to do with trash. But now he's going to have worse. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? He is going to have even worse now. You want to applaud him for doing more with less? Where did it get him? And now he's going to have even less than the less. Are y'all following me here? I think you're missing the big picture. This ain't about his ability. This is not about his ability. Y'all are mistaken. You're making my point. TD, look what he was able to do with less. Now what is he going to be able to do with less of less? Y'all missing it. You're missing the point here. You keep defending Russell Wilson. This ain't about Russell Wilson. I am proud that man got paid. I applaud him for getting paid. If I was Russell Wilson, I'm going to get paid. Unless Super Bowls are more important to me. You see that? Hey, you get that picture? Unless Super Bowls are more important to me. And in today's NFL climate, every player has a right for the money to be more important. Because the teams don't care about you. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing all this franchise tagging. Letting you risk getting hurt. Frank Clark just got $105 million, bro. But yet y'all would always talk about pay the man. Now, it's smart for the team to let Frank Clark go too. It's smart for them to let Frank Clark go, actually. $105 million? His position ain't worth that. The worst situation that a team can be. This is what I be trying to tell y'all. Watch this. Let's say in 2019, this is all hypothetical, right? Let's say in 2019, the Miami Dolphins draft a quarterback. He ends up being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, better than Patrick Mahomes. That's number one. In 2019 now, also in 2019, we draft Minkah Fitzpatrick. Let's just act like we drafted him this year. And he ends up being one of the best safeties or nickel the league has ever seen. That's two. Oh, 2019, the Dolphins also drafted Laramie Tunsil. He ends up being one of the best left tackles of all time. That's number three. In 2019, the Dolphins also drafted, a running back that ended up being the best of all time. That's four. In 2019, the Dolphins drafted a linebacker that ended up being the best of all time. That's five. Let's just hypothetically say in 2019, we draft 5 of the best of all time players. The best. I know all y'all in y'all mind, man, that'll never happen, but man, that'll be sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, it will only be sweet for 4 freaking years. When are you going to start thinking long term? Because guess what? That was 2019. In 2023, your quarterback won his, at that time, $40 million. Now, let's just say the salary cap goes up to $200 million at the time. In 2023, the salary cap is $200 million. Your quarterback won his 40. Minka won his 20 at this point. That's 60 right there. That linebacker won his 16. That's 76. The other player, left tackle, won his 20. That's 96. And whoever the other one that I mentioned is, the running back or whatever, wants their 18 because the cap's going up. You paying 5 players somewhere, and I'm guessing because I forgot my math, but about $120 million. You got $80 million remaining for the rest of the team. And the average salary on your team is about $1.5 million. What kind of offensive line can you put in front of that quarterback then? What kind of offensive line can you put in front of that running back? What kind of defensive line can you give to help that cornerback and that linebacker that you paying that big money? Nobody getting to the quarterback, so they not even playing as well because the receivers got all day to get open out there. What kind of team can you put around them? What kind of team? And then you wonder why we lose. Oh, man, our quarterback ain't playing like he used to. It ain't that he ain't playing like he used to. He ain't got the line to allow him to play like he used to. Our running back ain't hitting the hole like he used to. When he was on that rookie contract and the average lineman was getting $8 million, now they getting 1.5. I don't know how many ways I got to explain this to y'all. How this game works. You don't overpay on a position. Y'all would think y'all hit the lottery if you drafted 5 of the greatest players of all time, and then they all come up for a contract. You'll think we hit the lottery and don't see the long-term effects it's having. Do I have to go back and talk about RG3? What did we say about him his first few years? Oh my gosh, these guys are balling. Soon as they got off that rookie deal, you ain't hear from them since. Cam Newton, oh, he even went to the Super Bowl or whatever it was. Soon as he got off that rookie contract, where he been? Because the team ain't the same. Because you can't afford all the weapons around him anymore. Who else? We ain't done. There's plenty of them. Y'all give me the quarterbacks. Y'all give me the quarterbacks. Was Kaepernick in that situation? Forget all the politics. Let's talk about before he wasn't in the league. How was his play? And I'm not even gonna say it's because of him. But he couldn't have everything around him the way he used to. Truth is, same thing happened with Russell Wilson. Cheap Russell Wilson, you can afford the Legion of Boom. Soon as they gave Russell Wilson his contract, buy Legion of Boom. And now it's finna get worse for him? Who else? Who else? Y'all know it's more than that. Y'all know it's more quarterbacks than that. Come on. Who was it, Sam Bradford? Am I mistaken? Was it Sam Bradford who got the big deal? What has his teams been able to do since? What has his teams been able to do since? But y'all want to glorify the quarterback only. I don't know how many different ways I got to paint this picture for y'all. I have no idea how many ways I got to paint this picture. I wonder what excuse y'all. Joe Flacco, thank you. Another one. Another one, Joe Flacco. Joe freaking Flacco. I ain't even got to mention him. He goes to, I'm going to mention him because he goes to a Super Bowl and then he gets a deal and missed the playoffs for 7 years straight. What's up, Glenn? I mean, do y'all see what y'all are? Some of y'all are arguing with me. The evidence is right in front of you. You just don't like the idea of letting a great quarterback walk. And because you value the great quarterback more than you do Super Bowls. And those quarterbacks were only Super Bowl winning quarterbacks early in their career when they were getting pennies. When they were getting pennies. Matt Ryan came out the gate looking hot. And to be honest with you, the Falcons, if you ask me, has been the team that could manage it the best. They were still able to put weapons around a big contract. But remember when Matt Ryan got his contract, big was around $20 million. Big was around $20 million. And teams could still make that happen. It's just as of late, teams have missed on quarterbacks so much that the value has gone up so fast. Remember when Tannehill and Matt Ryan and all those guys were getting the 17, 18, 19, and $20 million contracts? That was the new standard for highest paid. But then quarterbacks start sucking so bad after those contracts that it didn't lower the quarterback value. It made it even higher for those guys that you thought were better. Aaron Rodgers, supposed to be the next coming of greatest of all time, got the big deal, and now he's still living off of his old name. He's still living off of the MVP ever, Aaron Rodgers. Do y'all notice that? Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be the next coming of the Peyton Mannings, Brady's, and he's the guy that's taking over the NFL. And to this day, several years later, he's still living off of the old reputation. What has he done for his team lately? And do not come in here and sit there and talk about, yeah, TD, but you can't put that on Aaron. You got to put it on the team. Once again, because of his freaking contract. They can't afford to put a team around him. I don't know how many ways I got to explain this and somebody say I disagree, but can't give me the point of where they disagree. You got to pay your quarterback. Yeah, you do. And lose. I talked about Matt Ryan already. Same situation. Nobody wants to look at history. They just want to look at the hot new shiny thing. That's what technology has gotten us. Technology has caused us to not have to use our brain. We want the instant. We want the instant thing. Somebody can say, what's 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2? Half the room will pick up their phone, hold on, let me see. Instead of just saying 8, using their brain. That's what technology has done for us. If you get the quarterback, it'll affect this, that, and this. Oh, that's too much information. I don't want to go down all those roads. It's the quarterback. Just get him. That's what we're doing. Some of us are blind GMing. And the saddest thing about it all, you actually got GMs that's getting paid millions who are doing it too. You would expect the GM to be smarter and understand this stuff. But show me a player that's getting about 30% more than what he should be getting. I'll show you a GM that don't understand how to GM. Or let me back up. He may know how to GM. He may know how to be a great GM. But he knows that he's close to getting fired, so he got to make a splash and do something wild anyway, just to excite the fan base and be in the good graces. When we got Ndamukong Suh, everybody was like, that's what I'm talking about. The front office getting it done now. We got Sue, we got Landry, we got Jay Ajayi, we got Pouncey, we got Wade, we got a whole bunch of players getting paid at least 10% more than they should, at least. And Ndamukong Suh was getting about 25% more than he should have, maybe even 40, as high as 40. But we got excited. But y'all answer me this, why couldn't we win? Because our coach sucked. Okay. Y'all keep on looking at the wrong root causes. And I know I'm bantering and I'm ranting right now, but I don't know how many ways I can say it to get through y'all head on how to build an organization. The right way, the smart way. The first thing you got to do as an organization to see is look out at the competition and say, what's working for them? And the sad thing is, you can't look at the competition but one team. You can't look at the competition. All you can do is look at one team. So whenever you find out this is the winning formula. Now, I could see if this was 8 years ago and we were talking about the Patriots, I can see people arguing that ain't necessarily the winning formula. But if you're arguing that today, over the last 20 years, them being in the mix 18 out of those 20 years, if you can argue that today, that they have the winning formula, then you're a hater. And I understand if you're a Dolphin fan, if you hate the Patriots that much that you can come to that conclusion, then I give you a pass. But at least acknowledge it's because you're a fan of the Dolphins, and that's why you're not going to give them credit. At least acknowledge that so we can say, oh, okay, but we really know what the truth is. Come on, man. Man, you're making a lot of valid points. People just fall in love with players and don't want to let them go. I bet Seattle won't see another Super Bowl with Russell Wilson at QB. No, Terrence, I agree with 99% of what you're saying. The only 1% that I reserve is, the truth be told, we can't say Seattle won't win another Super Bowl with Russell Wilson in these 4 years, and here's why. Because if they hit on their draft 100%, no, not even 100%, if they can hit 5 out of 7 players on their draft, I'm talking about starters in the NFL and legit, then they win. They win. But the odds of that, matter of fact, it's never happened. Somebody name a team in one draft where you done got 5 out of the 7 players were Pro Bowlers. But that's what they set themselves up for. They set themselves up to turn 5 out of 7 players into at least close to Pro Bowl. And it's not realistic. It's almost impossible. But impossible ain't impossible at all. That's why I say I don't 100% agree, because I can't, you know what I mean? If the Seahawks win a Super Bowl, trust me when I tell you, the main talk of the town is going to be, man, that linebacker they drafted is a Pro Bowler. That safety that they drafted is a Pro Bowler. That right tackle that they drafted is a Pro Bowler. That, oh my gosh, they hit on the draft like no other, and now look at them. That's what it's going to take. But that is more unlikely to happen than you letting 5 Russell Wilsons go. That is just not likely, man. Somebody said 1967. I'm unaware, but if it's happened, look how long ago it's been. 50 years? 53? 52 to be exact or something? Come on, man. We still going to draft the QB 2019. We should. TD, players don't want to take pay cuts unless they winning Super Bowls. What have I kept preaching to y'all? What have I kept preaching? I've been telling y'all the Dallas Cowboys and the Chiefs, they got 2 years to win a Super Bowl. I keep telling y'all, every time you bring in a rookie that's a stud and a superstar, you got until their rookie contract is up to win a Super Bowl. And if you can win a Super Bowl before their rookie contract is up, you're going to have players on that team that says, we got a chance to have a dynasty. I'll take a pay cut. I'll take a pay cut. If you don't win a Super Bowl, it's impossible. That's the only way it's possible. I have been on the record saying the Chiefs got 2 years left. They got 2 years to win a Super Bowl. If they can't get it in 2 years, they're done. I've been on the record saying it, and I'm also on the record saying they could win a Super Bowl in 2 years. People think I'm hating on Patrick Mahomes. No, this is just the reality. They got 2 years to win a Super Bowl with his current contract. If they can't get it done, they're done. Players aren't going to take pay cuts. They're taking care of their families, not on a losing team. For what purpose? I can go anywhere else. I don't mind going anywhere else for another $6 million a year. Get 4 starters and depth with the rest of the picks, and I'll be happy. How many teams have 4 starters? Put it like this. The Dolphins have 4 starters. Were you happy? Were you happy, Joe? I was happy with Minka. But were you happy with Gesicki? No. but we're still optimistic about it. So that notion of 4 starters, Gesicki was a starter. We weren't happy with it, but we're still optimistic. Were you happy with the linebacker? No, but we're still optimistic. Only two people I was happy about last year. Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jason Sanders. That's it. But we got 4 starters out of it. We got 4 starters. So what do you mean I'll be happy with 4 starters? No. We got 4 starters. Only 2 of them should be starting. Jerome Baker was good too. Skaggs, what's your definition of good? Because it's funny. You know what? I'm going to do you a favor and say, yeah, he was good. But is that what you're looking for? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you put Jerome Baker? Because if you anything over a 7, you was, I'm not going to, no. If you happy with Jerome Baker, then no, we got a problem. We got a problem. He's not even a 7. He did not play 7 football last year. How about, you know what? How about this, Skaggs? Can you name to me the things that he did very well last year? Watch this, y'all. Or some of y'all can help. Name the things that Jerome Baker did last year. And let me see if we come to a conclusion that he does one thing better than the other. Let me see if that's the conclusion that we come to. Are y'all not tired of linebackers that's good at the run but suck in pass coverage? Or suck it, or good in pass coverage and suck at the run? Are y'all not tired of that? Y'all aren't tired of that? Jerome Baker was below average. I'll put him at average because you're giving the rest of the league's linebacker a little, you're giving him too much credit to say he was below average. I'll say he's average, and that's not good. Not in this league. Average don't get the job done at the linebacker position. When you have when you have tight ends like you do now. Jerome Baker was a 7. He got a sack and a pick 6. Hold on. Was he the one who got the pick 6 off of Kiko Alonso's tip ball? Maybe not. I don't know. But so you mean to tell me you're going to rate him a 7 because he got a sack and a pick 6? I may be wrong, but I'm willing to say that 60% of our defense that did not play defensive line got a sack last year. You happy about a sack and a pick 6? That pick 6 could have just been a 6. I mean, a pick if he didn't have the open field in front of him. I mean, what? We giving accolades off of the fact that it was a pick 6 versus a pick? That could have been skewed anyway. Look at Minkah Fitzpatrick's pick 6. I'm impressed at the interception, not the 6. The 6 became because nobody was in front of him. The play was designed for it to be a pick 6. All he had to do was pick it. Any player who did what Minkah Fitzpatrick did on that pick 6, and it was beautiful, by the way. Any player that did what he did and jumped that route and picked it off, it would have been 6. It could have been a lineman and it would have been 6. Because he was only 25 yards away from it, and he had the momentum headed the other way. And everybody headed this way. When he picked it off, it was like, oh, crap. Nobody even barely ran after him. So we getting excited off of the 6? That's situational football. Don't throw those at me. Don't throw those at me. 1 pick 6 and oh, that's it? Exactly. Like, are we happy about that? Do you know that Jerome Baker could have had 3 sacks and 2 pick 6s and he wouldn't have made the Pro Bowl? I mean, that's situational football, man. Kiko had to cover his mistakes. I'm not even going to get into that because with Jerome Baker, I'm not going to sit here and advocate on why he wasn't all that. If you don't know that Jerome Baker was on a scale of 1 to 10, a hopeful 6, an optimistic 6, then I don't know what you're watching. Come on, man. 16 freaking games. And we talk about a sack and 1 pick six. 16 games. And you know what? I'm curious. I want to go back to that game. Hey, we might have won, but we might have even lost that game. I mean, man, we need a linebacker like Zach Thomas was. He was a beast. I agree. These guys ain't even Joey Porters. Not everyone has to be a great player. He's good enough. No. He's not good enough right now. Stop that. And I agree with you. Everybody does not have to be a great player. A great player is 9 or better. We just need 7.5s. I've been on the record saying that. 7.5 ain't great, but they hold their own. They hold their own. If Jerome Baker was good, we wouldn't have had Houston doing what they did on us, killing us with play action all game. We wouldn't have had Jerome Baker in a defensive stance, and when they hike the ball, he goes downhill for the run, and it's play action, and he's stuck there. He's just staring. Oh my gosh! I already know the defender is behind me. Come on, what kind of great linebacker ain't gonna realize I'm already beat? Let me keep going towards the quarterback, or I'm already beat. Let me turn around and at least try to help out. Who knows? Like, the guy might get in front of him, slow him down, and I can stop him from getting a touchdown. But no, that ain't what our linebackers was doing. They sold out on the run. Oh, play action. And they literally sat back there in a neutral position like, what do I do now? They stopped going forward, and they never backed out. They just stood there like, oh, man, we are beat so bad. Oh, what do I do? And we want to talk about great. Or we want to talk about good. I don't even know why I'm giving this the energy, man. That's good for a rookie, though. No, it's not. That's hopeful for a rookie. That's a difference. What if he gets no better as a rookie? What if he gets no better? Let's call it what it is. It's hopeful. At least he wasn't a 4 or a 5 out of 10 or a flat 6. At least he wasn't that. That leaves you room for hope. That's why he belongs on the roster. And we want to get better at the position. Maybe Flores makes him better. But let's call what he did what it is. Let's call what he's been able to produce so far what it is. You can't expect a rookie to come in and play like a seasoned vet. You're right. You're right. I couldn't expect that from Minka last year. I couldn't. You're right. The Patriots shouldn't have expected that from a young Tom Brady. You're right. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. Listen, you're in the NFL, you are either that guy or you're not. Some guys get better and better over time, I must admit. But that ain't what this argument is about. We're just talking about, is he NFL, is he ready to help a team win a Super Bowl? Is he ready to help a team win a Super Bowl? And the answer to that is no, not yet. You see that not yet, not saying he won't be. That's all we talking about here. Give credit when credit is due. Oh, I will. What credit do you want me to give him? Do you want me to say, oh, he had 1 sack and 1 pick? I'm giving him credit. What are we doing here? What credit do I need to give? Can you tell me the credit that he deserves? Almost every linebacker in the NFL played like Jerome Baker this year. I'm talking about the ones that ain't superstars. What are we talking about? And don't mistake what I'm saying right now with the hope and optimism that I actually have for the kid. He might turn out to be one of the greatest linebackers of all time, but that ain't got nothing to do with me evaluating what he was last year. That has nothing to do with it, and that's where y'all need to start learning how to differentiate. This ain't got nothing to do with what he can be and what year he is. You're in the NFL. I don't care what year you are. Let me rate you for what you are. And when it comes to you getting a contract or your future, then I will evaluate you're a rookie, this and that. But no, that ain't what I'm talking about here right now. What I'm talking about right now is we need better linebacker play. And that very well can come from Jerome Baker. But once again, it got to be better. That's all I'm saying, man. Y'all act like I'm downing the man. I'm not downing him. I'm saying what he was last year. That's what he was. A 6.5 out of 10. That's what he was. That ain't downing him. And he needs to be better. And my optimism says he will be better. Kudos. I'm just calling it what it is, what he was. That's all. I'm not arguing that he ain't the guy for the Dolphins. No. No. Peyton had one of the worst rookie seasons of all time, and now he's an all-time great. Skaggs, you're proving my point. So after Peyton's rookie season, TD would have been in front of this camera saying Peyton Manning was a 4 out of 10 this year. Oh, but TD, he's a rookie. That ain't got nothing to do with anything. I'm a value. You just did it. You just did it yourself. Peyton Manning had one of the worst rookie seasons of his career. Of all time. Okay, I would have been in front of the camera saying Peyton Manning was a 4 out of 10 his rookie year. That don't mean he won't end up being the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm calling it what it is at the moment. After Peyton Manning's rookie year, you would have said the same thing because you're saying it now after you've seen what he's become. Come on, man. Y'all got to comprehend what I'm actually saying. You're getting a false narrative. You're gathering a false narrative. You're proving my point. You said it. Peyton Manning had one of the worst rookie seasons. And that's like me saying Jerome Baker was a 6.5 out of 10 his rookie season. No difference. And I literally out of my own mouth said he can end up being the greatest of all time, but I'm calling what I see right now. Man, y'all mistaken. Y'all, come on, y'all. Come on. Y'all got to follow me. Follow the words that are coming out of my mouth and don't get offended. Listen to understand and not to respond. Do you think he played up to his second round draft status? Now that's a great question. I'm going to say just below it. Second round pick. Here's why it's difficult to answer that. Because where he was drafted in the second round as a linebacker, on a scale of 1 to 10, you like for him to bust out the 7. Be a 7. And be like, he was a second round pick. He's emerging. So when I say he's a 6.5, he wasn't far. And I stay behind my point of we just need better play at the position. Not saying he's not going to eventually provide that, but we need better play. We need better play. That was a great question, though. He's an average player with substantial upside, TD. Justin, you said that exactly. I'm good with that. That's where I see it. I said that already. I said he's been an average linebacker in the NFL, an average player. But I said my optimism for him is great. He might end up being the greatest of all time. Y'all are repeating what I'm saying. Y'all think when I talk about a player and say we need better play, I'm disrespecting them or I'm coming at them. Everything y'all saying that I agree with ain't changing the fact that we need better linebacker play. Even if it ends up coming from him, it got to be better. If we're going to make a Super Bowl run 2 years from now, can he be the same level he is as a rookie? How about y'all answer that for me? Can he be the same level he was as a rookie 3 years from now and we expect to have Super Bowl linebacker play? Can he be the same? And if you say no, he can't be the same, he has to improve and be better, then you're proving you're agreeing with my point here. You're agreeing with my point then. Man, TD says he will be better. He is not putting him down. He was not a 7 this year. That's all I'm saying. I think, man, everything got to be a debate. Y'all actually agree with me, y'all. It's just maybe some of y'all just want to be able to prove me wrong because you probably hear so much right stuff. I don't know. I have no idea, man. I think he needed to be utilized better. That could be a reason too. He needed to be utilized better and have a consistent scheme on defense. What have I said? Maybe Flores is that difference maker. Maybe Flores elevates his game to X, Y, and Z. Haven't I just said that in the last 10 minutes as well? You see what I'm saying? It's like y'all repeating the things I say in a different way, but y'all ain't following what I said. Man, okay, well, maybe I'm hyping him up because he was better than I expected. Maybe that's what it is. But that also leads me to wonder, what were you expecting? What were you expecting? Man, I guess this does sound mean, but that means you had some really high expectations. Because from a long-term standpoint, I like what I saw from him. He wasn't that Minka, oh my gosh, we got the guy. None of y'all can argue that. None of y'all can argue, hey, Jerome is the guy. None of you can say that. If you can say that, now you're really on the far side of the spectrum. We're just optimistic for him. We believe he can be the guy. But none of y'all are saying, oh, like Minka Fitzpatrick, oh, Mommy, we got our guy for the future. Mommy, none of you can say that about Jerome.
Mommy.
Daddy, we're going to have to stop this mommy stuff, man. Okay?
Okay.
Come here, give me a hug. Okay, you'll get your snack in about 7 minutes, okay?
Okay.
It's not snack time. Let me see. Okay, well, maybe, okay, but I agree he was not even a solid 6. Hey, man, I'm being generous, man. The only reason I'm as generous as I am sometimes is because I have people that argue my generosity. So imagine if I was giving my just straight up raw, this is what he was. I would never end the stream. I would literally my head would hurt because people will argue it. So I'm generous. When people used to say Tannehill sucks, you know how I used to come on the stream. Okay, you know what? For the sake of argument, let's say he sucks. That still ain't changing the point that I'm trying to make. See, that's why I be trying to say, listen to the points that are being made and don't just get offensive on something you hear that you don't agree with. And that's what's happening in society today. Somebody hears something they don't agree with. They don't want to hear why the person said what they said. They just hear the surface. But if they listen to why the person said what they said, they might actually hear a point of view that they never thought of, and it might open their mind and say, man, I didn't even think of it that way. Like sometimes that happens, people. People can shock you with their thought process, and it makes you open your brain to like, man, that's a great point, and it can actually change your opinion.
Mama.
Pick it up, throw it in the trash. It can change your opinion. But you gotta have an open mind. When you don't have an open mind, it causes ignorance to the highest level.
Mommy, come on.
If you're on the right side of something and you're going against the left, you are doing yourself a disjustice to not try to understand why the left believes what they believe. Because if you can hear it in detail, you might actually be like, man, I never thought about that. And at the end of the day, you might still say, hey, I disagree. But you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't at least try to listen to understand other people's logic. And we got a lot of that happening in the world today. That's just a fact. And it's the saddest thing ever, causing the most division ever. It's just a whole bunch of ignorance floating around. But TD, I understand you are coming from, bro. Try, Nick. Flores will get these guys playing right. That's who I'm putting it on, Flores. I'm putting on Flores to turn Jerome Baker into a 7.5 next year. Maybe even a 7. You know, he ain't got to be a 7.5. But I'm looking for Flores to turn him to at least a 7. Go up a full point, and that is coaching.
Come on.
No, I'm not coming. You still got 4 minutes. We work a schedule, homie. TD has serious skills with his sports. I try, man. He was a 3rd rounder. That really don't make much of a difference. In my opinion, once you pass this first round, Listen, in my opinion, once you pass the first round, second, third, and some of fourth round are all the same. It's just that which order are you going to be picked in.
Come on.
Because sometimes the beginning of the fourth round ain't no different from the beginning of the second round as far as skill level. Trust me, there is a huge drop-off of... Because your first round... To be honest with you, late in the first round, sometimes is no different from a second rounder.
Mommy.
No, you call me mommy. We ain't going there. Raekwon is another story. He just doesn't have it. He's not that guy. But hey, Raekwon, Flores might turn Raekwon from a 5 to a 6.5. And then we can start talking about we're seeing some upside. Now he's looking like Jerome Baker. So he's gained a few more people that are like, oh, he played good. You know, you never know. Do you think Charles Harris will be better this year? I really do think so. I really do think so. Jerome Baker was a third-round pick, TD. You're right. Put Sam Presti here, the magician. But guys, man, the whole point of this whole thing was you don't overpay for players. You develop players, man. You develop your future every year. We got Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's supposed to be our future, right? In 3 years, they need to bring in Minkah Fitzpatrick's replacement. And it doesn't mean we get rid of Minkah Fitzpatrick. But just in case it gets nasty from a contractual standpoint, we're prepared for it. That's what it always has to be, man. That's what it has to be, man. This TD Fans Talk. Hopefully I brought some knowledge y'all way. Let me go love on the babies for the rest of the day. Y'all tune in tonight. I'm going to go live. I don't know if it's all the games. I'm going to try. But we're going to be doing these NBA games on this channel. But y'all tune in, man. This TD Fans Talk. I'll be back at y'all with another one unless we got some breaking news. Love y'all. I appreciate it. These are fun times, man. And y'all go back and really listen to what I got to say, man. And don't think I'm bashing people. It's just my opinion. At least I give you a reason for all of my opinions. I will always give you the reason behind my opinion. But it's tough getting through to the people who, when you hear my opinion, you automatically write me off before I can start explaining my reason. You say I disagree before you start hearing the reason. And there lies preconceived notions. This TD Fans Talk, y'all. I'm out. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.